The hype for the Osmo Pocket 3 has been overwhelming since its release. But is it worth your hard-earned cash, or is it just another gimmicky camera? I took the leap and I spent $500 on this little toy. No regrets. How's it going, everyone? My name is Brian. I have been a professional videographer for TV news for the past decade. And I'd like to give my thoughts on this wonderful little gadget right here, the Osmo Pocket 3. I bought this just a little under a month ago, and I've taken it on a few shoots with me, and I have to say, I am very impressed with this. I do believe that it lives up to the hype. And when I say hype, I mean hype. This thing has been everywhere. I can't get away from videos that are reviewing it. And you know what, I caved. I had to go spend my $500 to buy this. It is fantastic for what I do. I'm a run and gun videographer. I work with news, so we are fast paced, we are go, go, go. So this tool is fantastic because I don't have to set up a big giant gimbal and put a mirrorless camera on it, balance it, get everything ready. All I have to do is just pull this out, turn it on, it's ready to go. So far, I've used this camera for interviews, walk and talks, even things that action cameras are mainly used for. This camera can even be great for things I haven't even tried yet. Vlogging, time lapse, slow motion. Even a one-man band can use this because it can follow you as you go. There are cons, obviously, and we'll get into those in just a minute. But first, I want to go through some of the pros that I found with this camera. The sensor is a 1-inch CMOS sensor with 9.4 megapixels. Now, 9.4 megapixels don't sound like a ton, but for issues with low light, this is fantastic. The more megapixels you have, the more data it has to collect, and it just doesn't do well with low light conditions. But from what I've seen, test footage, this thing is amazing. You get up to 4K 120 frames per second in the slow motion mode. Standard mode, you get 4K 60 frames per second, which is more than I need because I shoot for broadcast news and we broadcast at 720. So this is a beast compared to what I need. Not only does it shoot in landscape mode, your standard 16:9, but it also shoots in portrait mode for our shorts, TikToks. One of my favorite features of this camera is the color profiles that you can select on it. You have your standard, which by itself is a great image if you're running and gunning, you don't have time to color grade later on in post. Sometimes I do feel that rush and I don't have the time to color grade, so this is fantastic for what I need. You also have HLG mode, which I'll be honest, no idea what that is. If someone in the comment section could tell me, I would love to learn what that is. Thank you. Of course, we have the new D-Log M mode, which is kind of like a cine grade. It's what I've used the most so far when I have time to color grade and post. I feel like it gives a great dynamic range to your picture. Lights aren't blown out, my darks aren't super black, and it's so great to like get kind of a cine style image out of such a small camera. It's amazing to me. And all these profiles, of course, are 10-bit color, which is fantastic for color grading. Another pro of this camera is the autofocus. This thing can capture focus so quickly that I really don't have to do anything with this. I can just turn it on, point at what I need to point at, and this thing can find exactly what it needs to, and I can move on and get my shoot going quickly. With this being a DJI product, you can set this up on a tripod and you don't even need anyone to man the camera. You can go out in front of it and it will follow you as you walk back and forth from the frame. You can even walk, go at a fast pace and it'll stay right with you. So I think a lot of people can find a lot of use for that, and they don't have to have someone always around them to help them capture things with this amazing follow mode. What's been one of the most useful features of this is the ability to plug in a microphone via USB-C port. I have the DJI mic, the first generation, and I can plug it right in. I have my reporter mic'd up, I have my subject mic'd up, and I can just follow them around, and I don't have to worry about missing any kind of sound bites, missing any opportunities of these interviews being cut out. One thing I love on this camera is the touch screen. I feel like it's very reactive to whenever I press buttons. I feel like I don't have to hit anything super hard or feel like I'm gonna break it every time I press it. It is very responsive, it works like a charm, and I think it's a great addition. I think one of the biggest pros for this camera in general is just the ease of use. I could just give this off to a novice and they can just come up with some really interesting shots. As a matter of fact, we had an intern with us for a shoot the other day, and he needed something to do. So I said, here, take this and just go around and see what you can get video of, and I'll see if I put it in my story. Right here we have the DJI Mimo app, which links up perfectly to your Pocket, and you can control this thing wirelessly through your phone. You don't need any extra kind of cables, any kind of external monitors with this thing, just your own phone. And it's fantastic. I can sit here and turn the camera any way I need to, just with the tip of my finger on my own phone. I've used this for when I've had this thing mounted on the back of my car and I'm being driven around, and I can just sit in the passenger seat and just move the joystick whichever way I need to. And it's fantastic. I don't have to hang out of the car when I'm doing it. Like I said earlier, there are some cons. My biggest one by far is just the zoom limitations. Yes, you can zoom with the camera, but because the 9 megapixels, it's just not gonna look that great. So obviously you have to get in close with your own body, but then that runs into my next con, is the macro on this thing. So I've noticed these limitations as I've been trying to get extreme close-up shots for my stories and get extra B-roll, but I can't get these tight shots that are in focus, can't get those extra perspectives that I need. It'd be great if there was a better macro for it. Obviously the zoom I can live without, I have my own feet. I'm not gonna use this in situations where I do need to zoom in super far anyways. So it is a con, but it's not a super big con. So another con would actually be something that was a pro. It's the autofocus. Yes, it is quick, but sometimes it is too quick. And if you're not thinking about it and you have it just on full auto, it can grab anything that's kind of towards the foreground of your shot, a telephone pole, a ladder, and you'll lose your subject. So in the shots like that, you do have to switch it over to single focus mode, which works fantastic. And this is a very slight con, don't get me wrong, it's a very slight con, but it can just mean another few seconds that adds onto my shoot time that I have to change over things. Trust me, I'm not complaining about it. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying it'd be nice if it just didn't grab everything that was in the shot. Now, my biggest pet peeve con would be the ND filters that you do need for it are like this big. And as you see, these fingers are fat. They are not going to gently and nimbly get a small little ND filter and put it on here without putting smudges on the lens. So that means I have to clean lenses nonstop when I use ND filters. Now, of course, the big question of the day, is it worth the $500 plus price tag? And I think it is. For me, at least. I use this thing almost daily whenever I shoot. It is fantastic. I can pull it out on the go. I don't even need to take this big old camera back here with me to shoots. I can take my mirrorless, I can take this. You know, there's one day I just want to take this for a shoot and just see how it goes. But I do think it's worth that $500 price tag. Now, is it worth the $500 to people who do not do this for a living, who are hobbyists, who just want to do YouTube videos? I think it is. Especially vlogging. I think this thing is be a great tool for vlogging. Now, I do think your iPhone can do a fantastic job with vlogging, and I think it's already in your pocket, so why bother spending $500 for something else? But I believe this thing can give you a new experience vlogging. Obviously, the stability of the image is amazing. The depth of field you give this image is insane, and the additional synchronization with microphones is fantastic. I've heard microphones that go into your phone and they just don't sound as great, in my opinion. Maybe you can tell me I'm wrong, comment section, go ahead. But if you have the cash and you have the interest, go for it. I think this is a fantastic camera to invest in, and I don't think you're wasting your money whatsoever. Now, I would like to hear what you guys think. Have you bought this camera? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you going to buy it? Let me know in the comments section. And if you have any questions for me about what I do as a video journalist for broadcast TV and news, please put it in the comments section. I'd love to, answer these in a future video. And thank you for watching. If you could, please leave a like and a subscribe. And I'll catch up with you next time. Thank you.